Hey Brian, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
If you wouldn't mind kicking off by telling us a bit more about your role at Instant Offices.
Brian Hunter, I've been at Instant for 11 years, so I got the pen last year, the 10-year pen. Head of digital marketing, so it's a global role. We have a family of websites which essentially list co-working space, serviced offices, virtual offices, meeting rooms around the world.
What business priorities or challenges did you want to address when you first started looking at conversion?
Primary goal was really increasing the on-site conversion rate. So most of our traffic at the time was coming from PPC and SEO, so it was roughly 50-50 split. So it was important for us, particularly on the PPC front, to drive as many leads through the inquiry forms as we could. So we saw live chat as showing the potential to do that, and being able to measure that was important as well. And then we also had the hypothesis that live chat leads would be more engaged because they're, spending time to speak to an advisor at the other end, probably more likely to be a higher average deal value, and hopefully potentially more likely to convert into a deal. So that was probably the sort of primary goals of the trial at the time. The primary driver for us was that you guys could do all of the heavy lifting and you could have someone at the other end, an agent, always available 24 hours a day. So we had run a live chat trial ourselves, and it was basically using this existing sales team. And so they would have to be available. And if they went to lunch, they would turn it off. Sometimes they would forget. So for us, that wasn't really scalable. Whereas conversion came along and offered a 24/7 solution that we could deploy anywhere in the world, as long as it's English language. And you would help with the setup. You would make sure that it integrates with our sort of tracking, and PPC tracking was kept as well. And you kind of took the problem away from us, really.
What results did you hope to achieve through that trial process? And did you have any specific concerns prior to implementation of the trial?
One of the key things was that we have a telephone source line. So I think it was important for us to understand, the cannibalization. So some clients might come in and they're more than happy to fill out a form on the site. Some are more wanting to talk to an advisor on the telephone, whereas some, potentially could go through the live chat experience. So we ran the trial, looked at the numbers, and we found that actually telephone inquiries were not going down. Live chat was bringing in incremental leads through the platform, and those leads were also of a higher average deal value, and equally likely to convert to deal than the telephone source as well. So for us, that was a sort of net gain across all sources.
Obviously, you mentioned you were running chat internally previously. I think a lot of businesses will have concerns around how the conversion team know what to say and how they can kind of replicate brand tone of voice. So if you wouldn't mind providing a bit of context in terms of how we, addressed that concern and made it clear that we could communicate in the right way for the Instant Offices group.
Yeah, so for us, it's quite important that we collect the right sort of information from potential clients looking for office space. And so it can be quite an involved process. And there's a sort of number of, criteria that we look for and use that to filter out clients that, we can't sort of help. So for us, there was a balance between getting as many website visitors into the sort of live chat process without sort of inundating the sales team, and then sort of the sort of your advisors on the other end understanding the right questions to ask without sort of taking them too far down the funnel. So script building was really important, and I think you guys again you sort of helped us with the heavy lifting, spoke to our advisors. Rather than us write the scripts out, you sort of took it away, came up with the scripts, we checked them, worked backwards and forwards. So the process was pretty seamless. And then, we sort of found that happy medium between, just getting the mandatory sort of fields, for example, how many desks is the office for? What company, what's the name of your company? When do you want to start? All of these things. So the quality of the lead that then goes through to our sales team was sort of just right. Through live chat, we had an increase in overall leads. Inquiry to deal or lead to deal was higher, and the sort of sales cycle, so the length of time it would take to close a deal was around about the same, so but not less. So they were all green ticks on the experiments, which was great. Yeah, so one of our largest channels is PPC, and it can be pretty expensive depending on the city that we're running campaigns in. Anything from £2 per click in a sort of medium-sized city up to £25 in a city like London or New York. So for us, we're pretty cautious when it comes to what we spend per lead, our cost per lead or our cost per acquisition. We need to take that into account. I think your pricing was fair, and we were open to trialing it, so it kind of was a bit of a no-brainer. But having run the trial for a good sort of 2 or 3 months, we understood the full sort of return on investment on our PPC spend, and it was still positive with leads coming through live chat, which was a pretty good outcome. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, cool. And would you recommend SmartChat to any other businesses? And I guess why?
Yes, I would. And I'm aware of a number of clients that have been using it prior to us being introduced, and who had said favourable things. But yeah, I mean, I think we're a B2B business primarily, and it makes a lot of sense for us. I think the sort of pricing and the performance sweet spot was great, and yeah, wholeheartedly recommend conversion.